There's a critical turning point in any relationship with a narcissist. It rarely arrives with fireworks or a loud confrontation, and it is seldom marked by a dramatic scene that demands immediate attention. Instead, it sneaks in quietly, almost imperceptibly, cloaked in a subtle and deceptively ordinary moment. It is the instant they recognize that you see them, not just their superficial behaviors, the petty lies, or the obvious manipulations, but their core. You see beyond the carefully constructed mask that they present to the world, beyond the charm, the charisma, and the crafted image of perfection. You glimpse the raw insecurity they have hidden for decades, a fear they never intended anyone to witness, and in that instant, the invisible rules of the relationship shift entirely. Your eyes, which once served as a source of constant validation and admiration, suddenly transform into a mirror that reflects a reality they cannot tolerate, a truth that has been meticulously buried beneath years of performance and pretense. The effect is seismic. What had been a game of subtle control, quiet manipulation, and careful observation is abruptly overturned. The dynamic does not merely change. It mutates violently and irrevocably, as if the entire foundation of their constructed reality has been exposed to sunlight for the first time. Their previously stable world, built on manipulation, illusions, and external adoration, trembles at the revelation that someone has penetrated its walls. In that moment, the narcissist faces a primal terror. To be truly seen is to risk complete psychic annihilation. From this point, the unfolding chaos is not random. It is not the product of simple emotion or spur-of-the-moment anger. What follows is a highly predictable, almost ritualized strategy of psychological warfare. They will employ every tool at their disposal, not merely to regain lost control, but to punish the audacious individual who dared to see through the illusion. Every tactic, every word, every maneuver is a calculated step in a battle that they did not ask for but feel compelled to wage. The world they meticulously constructed is suddenly under siege, and you, the one who has glimpsed their truth, become both the target and the witness of their unfolding strategy. This is the battlefield of the narcissist, a realm of manipulation, deception, and relentless psychological pressure, where the rules are dictated by fear and the relentless drive to preserve a fragile sense of self. Before we can understand how a narcissist reacts when their hidden self is revealed, we must ask an essential question. Do they even know who they are? Many people assume that narcissists are simple villains, fully conscious of their flaws and delighting in manipulation. In truth, this perception misses the complexity of their inner world. Narcissism is not just about cruelty or arrogance. It is about an intricate psychological architecture built to deny truth and shield themselves from vulnerability. They are engaged in a lifelong, deliberate project of self-deception, a careful and ongoing effort to keep the truth of their weaknesses, insecurities, and dependence hidden not just from others, but from themselves. Walls, diversions, alliances, and narratives are all meticulously crafted to preserve the illusion of strength. Narcissists are not entirely blind to the consequences of their behavior. They can see on a superficial level the cause and effect of their actions in the external world. They notice when lies lead to conflict, when rages push people away, or when their self-entitlement creates friction in relationships. Yet, the way they interpret these outcomes is radically distorted. Their minds are equipped with an internal defense system designed to preserve the ego at all costs, to prevent even a fraction of shame or vulnerability from breaking through. Rather than concluding that their actions are the source of the problem, they activate psychological mechanisms that justify, rationalize, and twist reality, allowing them to maintain a self-image that remains unbroken no matter the consequences. One of the primary mechanisms they employ is rationalization. The narcissist will reframe every action, every misstep, and every aggression as a justified response to some perceived wrongdoing on your part. Their outbursts are not lapses in control. They are punishments, lessons, or corrective measures designed to address your imagined failures. Their manipulation is recast as a clever and necessary strategy to manage your supposed irrationality. Every action, no matter how harmful or deceitful, is incorporated into a narrative where they are invariably the victim, the misunderstood, or the righteous party. This narrative is not only presented outwardly to manipulate others, but also inwardly, serving as a psychological prop to keep their fragile sense of self intact. Alongside rationalization comes projection, a defense so subtle and pervasive that it can completely warp reality. Projection allows the narcissist to attribute their own flaws, fears, and weaknesses to you. They are not the insecure one, you are. They are not the manipulator, you are the one playing games. This mechanism functions on a deeply unconscious level, letting them externalize the parts of themselves that would otherwise be unbearable to acknowledge. By projecting these traits onto you, they simultaneously justify aggression, assert dominance, and wage a psychological battle against a version of themselves that they refuse to recognize. In essence, they are fighting an internal war, but you, the perceptive witness, have been conscripted as the enemy territory in this ongoing conflict. Beneath all of this lies a sense of entitlement so profound it almost feels unreal, as if it operates outside the laws that govern ordinary human behavior. The narcissist genuinely believes that normal social rules, emotional reciprocity, and accountability simply do not apply to them. In their internal hierarchy, their needs, impulses, and desires are inherently superior to those of others. Their impulsiveness is not viewed as recklessness, but as authenticity. Their tantrums are not signs of immaturity, but righteous reactions to a world that has failed to recognize their imagined exceptional status. Self-regulation feels unnecessary to them because, in their mind, reality itself should bend to accommodate their wishes without resistance. Hidden deep within a heavily guarded corner of their psyche, there may occasionally flicker a brief moment of awareness. In rare breakdowns or within the safety of a controlled therapeutic setting, a narcissist might even admit, "I know I cause problems." But this awareness is fleeting and immediately suffocated by terror. The shame that accompanies such recognition is unbearable. To accept responsibility would mean acknowledging that their suffering is self-generated, that their insecurity is foundational rather than imposed by others. Such an admission would threaten the collapse of the inner fortress they rely on for survival. So the walls are quickly rebuilt, defenses reinforced, and denial restored as the cycle continues. This is why meaningful change is so rare and why your understanding is so deeply threatening. You are no longer merely observing bad behavior. You are seeing the truth they have spent a lifetime running from. Your clarity penetrates defenses that were designed to repel criticism, logic, and emotional honesty. Your calm observation bypasses the usual traps of guilt and confusion. Your steady, knowing gaze becomes a structural threat to the narcissist's entire psychological architecture. You are not holding up a mirror to their actions, but to the unbearable shame that fuels them. And this act, though silent and nonviolent, is perceived as an unforgivable aggression. If this awakening resonates with you and you wish to continue strengthening your psychological and spiritual sovereignty, this path requires ongoing awareness. Understanding is not a destination, but a process of continual refinement. Each layer of clarity removes another illusion and restores another piece of your autonomy. What comes next is not about confrontation or dramatic declarations, but about comprehension so complete it alters the battlefield itself. In the next phase, we explore the single realization that frightens the narcissist most. The moment you fully understand what has been happening, the moment the illusion collapses, and the exact instant the war truly begins. When the narcissist realizes what you know, the danger intensifies. The clarity you fought so hard to reach becomes paradoxical. It feels like liberation, yet it marks the moment you are most vulnerable. Understanding is the key that unlocks your psychological prison, but it also alerts the jailer that their control is failing. To grasp why this moment is so volatile, we must understand the nature of the game you were trapped in and the silent transformation you have undergone by waking up within it. This was never a relationship built on equality. It was a closed system designed to sustain one central figure at all costs. A relationship with a narcissist is not a partnership. It is a psychic ecosystem with them positioned at the center, demanding constant orbit and reflection. You were never recognized as a sovereign individual with independent needs. You were a function, a regulator, a stabilizer, the calming presence, the validating gaze, the emotional anchor. You served as the mirror that reflected their worth back to them in a form they could tolerate. This unspoken contract, where you sacrificed your reality to preserve their stability, became the foundation of their world. The moment you understand this truth, the agreement is silently but irrevocably voided. This awakening rarely arrives all at once. It is the result of a slow, painful accumulation of contradictions, betrayals, and moments that never quite added up. It is the collapse of cognitive dissonance, that exhausting mental state where you tried to reconcile two irreconcilable realities, the charming, loving persona and the cold, manipulative truth underneath. For years, your mind labored to bridge that impossible gap. You made excuses, you internalized blame, you questioned your own perception, all to preserve a fragile illusion that kept the relationship functioning. But eventually, a threshold is crossed. The truth becomes undeniable. Once that line is crossed, everything changes. You see the seriousness of the problem clearly and without distortion. The narcissist has revealed their true face, not through one dramatic act, but through consistent patterns that no longer require explanation. This is the true turning point. What matters now is not what you say or do, but how you begin to be. The shift is subtle, nearly invisible to outsiders, yet seismic to the narcissist. Your energy changes. Your reactions soften or disappear. The hooks that once worked no longer find purchase. The familiar tactics lose their power. You stop taking the bait. The passive-aggressive remarks that once triggered spirals of self-doubt and frantic self-defense are now met with silence, not as punishment, not as strategy, but as a natural consequence of clarity. You no longer feel compelled to explain yourself, justify your emotions, or chase understanding that will never come. This quiet withdrawal of emotional fuel is not perceived as neutrality. To the narcissist, it signals the collapse of control, and it is here, precisely here, that the most dangerous phase begins. You no longer get drawn into the circular arguments designed to exhaust you, to erode your patience and distort your perception of reality. Instead, you begin practicing the art of the gray rock, a strategy where your emotional landscape becomes as plain, as unreflective, and as uninteresting as stone. You stop providing the shiny surfaces they rely upon to see their reflection, the surfaces that once fed their insatiable need for control and validation, justifying, explaining, defending your existence. All these habits quietly fade away. The constant undercurrent of anxiety that once hummed through every moment of your life begins to ebb, replaced by a strange, unfamiliar calm that feels both liberating and disorienting. As an empath, this newfound calm is revolutionary. You no longer live in anticipation of the narcissist's next mood swing, the next thinly veiled threat, the next manipulation designed to destabilize you. You have stepped off the emotional roller coaster that defined your life, and the quiet steadiness of your presence is something the narcissist cannot endure. They monitor every subtle change in your energy, whether positive or negative. Your anger once empowered them. Your tears once confirmed their control. Your confusion once validated their superiority. Now, your calm emptiness forms a void in the space they have always relied upon for fuel, and this emptiness terrifies them. The empath's awakening, though quiet and internal, represents a profound victory, yet it is a dangerous one. You cannot openly celebrate, for the narcissist perceives every shift in your consciousness as a threat. Your clarity is a mirror reflecting the void they spend a lifetime hiding from themselves. The act of no longer reacting is itself a confrontation, a quiet assertion of autonomy that the narcissist is compelled to punish. This is when their behavior escalates from manipulation to containment and eventually to psychological assault. They cannot tolerate the presence of a calm, clear, independent mind. Your clarity is an intrusion into the fortress of denial they have so meticulously built. The experience of having your reality denied by someone utterly convinced of their own righteousness is profoundly isolating. Every word you speak, every truth you assert, seems to bounce off a wall of denial so complete it feels maddening. Have you ever been dismissed for seeing what everyone else missed, accused of overreacting, or told your feelings were simply invalid? If this resonates, acknowledging your experience becomes vital. Recognize your strength. Comment below with the single word perception and join a community of individuals who honor the clarity they have fought to preserve. This is the beginning of reclaiming sovereignty over your inner world. The emergence of this calm and grounded personality is itself a declaration of war. Your clarity, your unflinching gaze, is now a mirror they cannot bear to see. Every tactic they once used to manipulate your emotions is no longer effective. This triggers a calculated escalation. They will begin to systematically dismantle your perception of reality. What follows is not casual conflict, but an organized campaign, a war against your consciousness designed to make you question everything you know. They aim not to persuade, not to negotiate, but to colonize your mind, to restructure it so that your new understanding is erased and replaced with confusion, doubt, and self-reproach. When the narcissist realizes you have seen behind their curtain, their hollow existence, their single-minded objective becomes clear: complete invalidation. They cannot allow anyone to exist who sees through the illusion. This is not a simple argument. It is a relentless effort to dismantle your perception, to turn clarity into pathology, to convince you that the awakening you have experienced is a symptom of delusion, instability, or fragility. What begins as psychological manipulation now escalates into a covert war on your consciousness, a strategic assault on your inner reality. The aim is nothing less than to turn your mind from a sanctuary into a prison. Before this stage, manipulation may have been tactical, intermittent, and targeted to specific situations, arguments, minor conflicts, or challenges to control. But now, it becomes the ambient air you are forced to breathe. It is no longer about isolated incidents. It is about the architecture of your perception itself. They seek to destabilize your entire inner world, to make your memories, emotions, and thoughts feel unreliable. Their goal is to transform your own mind into an unreliable narrator, turning intuition into paranoia, memories into distortions, and clarity into anxiety. Every interaction is weaponized, every conversation a potential tool for internal collapse. The first battlefield in this war is the pathologizing of your awakening. Your newfound strength and clarity are reframed as dangerous weaknesses. Your calm is presented as coldness. Your confidence is labeled rigidity. Every word you speak is twisted, every action reframed until the very act of liberation appears to be a moral failing. They will speak with exaggerated concern, not anger, but theatrical pity. "I'm worried about you," they will declare, positioning themselves as the stable, loving observer to your alleged decline. This is a calculated slight designed to provoke guilt, shame, and self-doubt. It is an insidious form of psychological gaslighting designed to reassert control through the appearance of care. This doctrine, the narcissist's war against your reality, is enforced through constant manipulation. Think of your inner world as a sovereign nation, complete with memory, values, emotional context, and governance. Your consciousness has its own history, its own law, its own identity. When the narcissist realizes they have lost control over this inner government, they do not attack directly. They wage psychological rebellion, using manipulation as a weapon to destabilize your internal structures. They deny events, distort facts, reinterpret intentions, and fabricate intricate false narratives, all while maintaining perfect sincerity. The goal is to create enough cognitive chaos that the natural order of your mind collapses, leaving them to impose their regime of perceived reality. At the deepest level, this is a war on intuition. Intuition, your inner compass, is what led you to awakening in the first place. The quiet, non-linear intelligence whispering that something was wrong. The narcissist instinctively recognizes that as long as you trust this compass, you will navigate your way out of their fog. Therefore, your instincts must be undermined. Every gut feeling must be framed as paranoia, every instinct as error, every insight as unstable or flawed. The relentless psychological pressure is not metaphorical. It is a tangible assault, capable of leaving neurological and physiological scars. Every memory questioned, every reality denied, chips away at the foundation of your consciousness, leaving both mind and body in trauma. Chronic psychological manipulation and emotional abuse can have profound effects on the nervous system, often leading to a condition recognized as complex post-traumatic stress disorder. In this state, your brain and body are constantly adapting to a world perceived as unpredictable and dangerous, a survival mode activated by sustained threat. The amygdala, the fear center of the brain, becomes chronically overactive, plunging you into relentless hypervigilance. You may find yourself scanning every word, gesture, or look for hidden meaning, bracing for the next subtle attack. Simultaneously, the hippocampus, which organizes memory and helps anchor reality, can be impaired. This leads to confusion, doubt, and a terrifying inability to trust your own recollection of events. You are not going insane. Your system is responding naturally to an unnatural environment. This internal assault is almost always accompanied by an external one, the creation of a distorted consensus. The narcissist, a master manipulator and public strategist, draws others into their constructed reality, enlisting friends, family, and colleagues as unknowing participants. This is an extension of projective identification, a psychological mechanism in which they offload their internal chaos onto you and the social world. By enlisting others, they craft a social environment where your truth is denied, your experiences rewritten, and your credibility systematically undermined. You are portrayed as unstable, vengeful, or emotionally unreliable, while they present themselves as devoted, long-suffering, and rational. The resulting isolation makes you feel like a lone dissenter in a world that has accepted the narcissist's distorted version of reality as absolute truth. This two-pronged assault, a psychological attack from within and a social manipulation from without, leaves your consciousness with no allies, no sanctuary, and seemingly no escape. The dismantling of your reality is deliberate, calculated, and deeply isolating. It is a battle fought invisibly within the chambers of the mind, and its effects can be profound, leaving emotional and neurological scars. Many empaths recognize the sensation of having their clear perceptions dismissed as madness, oversensitivity, or delusion. If this resonates, acknowledging your resilience becomes essential. Comment with the single word clarity to honor the courage it takes to maintain your truth while the world insists you are wrong. This is an act of both validation and solidarity. When this sophisticated assault on your consciousness fails, when you hold firm and refuse to surrender your perception, the narcissist is forced to confront a new, terrifying reality. They have lost control over your mind. At this point, internal manipulation alone is insufficient. Your independence forces a shift in strategy, one that moves from controlling your internal world to controlling your external one. The battlefield shifts to the social sphere, where your reputation, relationships, and credibility become the next targets. This is the onset of the smear campaign, a calculated effort to destroy your image in the eyes of others. The aim is to isolate, discredit, and destabilize, leaving you exposed and vulnerable. The smear campaign is a carefully orchestrated, proactive assault, not a reactive tantrum born of emotion. It is narrative warfare conducted with ruthless precision. Recognizing the truth of their own emptiness and manipulations, the narcissist understands that you represent an existential threat, a living mirror reflecting their fractured self. To prevent others from seeing this reflection, they must preemptively define you in distorted terms, shaping a social reality where you appear unreliable, unstable, or morally compromised. Every interaction, every anecdote, every perceived slight becomes material to be twisted. The campaign is methodical. Your history, words, and actions are collected, reframed, and weaponized to construct a coherent narrative that benefits them while destroying your credibility. This social exorcism is designed to leave nothing standing in your social landscape. Friends, colleagues, and family may be subtly enlisted to witness, validate, and amplify the narrative, often unknowingly. The narcissist's goal is total domination over perception. If they cannot control how you see yourself, they will control how everyone else sees you. Even minor events are twisted into evidence of instability, and normal disagreements are reframed as emotional pathology. The cumulative effect is profound isolation and alienation. You may feel as if every relationship, every social connection is now under siege, leaving you vulnerable to fear, doubt, and an acute sense of betrayal. This is a scorched earth tactic, a deliberate and systematic attempt to leave your life barren. The mechanics of this attack are both cunning and cruel. Nothing from the past is off limits. Every argument, misstep, or disagreement is meticulously sifted through, edited, and repurposed into a weapon against you. Private conversations become evidence of instability. Moments of vulnerability are reframed as manipulation or emotional pathology. Compliments, achievements, and normal expressions of emotion are twisted to serve their narrative. The narcissist's skill lies not merely in distortion, but in their ability to maintain absolute sincerity while presenting lies. This creates an environment where reality itself feels fragile. The social world, once a refuge, becomes another battlefield, leaving you to fight not only for your sanity, but also for your standing, your relationships, and your very identity. The moments when you were most vulnerable, the secrets shared in times of intimate trust, the confessions whispered in sacred spaces will be unearthed, distorted, and weaponized to serve the narcissist's story. They become masters of decontextualization, taking fragments of truth and twisting them into proof of your alleged instability. Your genuine emotional reactions, whether tears of pain or righteous anger after years of provocation, are reframed as evidence of aggression, unpredictability, or emotional deficiency. Every act of self-defense is portrayed as a personal failing. Piece by piece, they craft a monstrous effigy of you, a caricature anchored in reality, yet animated entirely by fiction. The veneer of believability makes the campaign devastatingly effective to anyone unfamiliar with the full truth. Simultaneously, the narcissist performs the role of the suffering victim, projecting a facade of compassion and concern that masks the violence of their attack. They speak to friends with sorrowful gravity. "I'm so worried. They've become paranoid and aggressive. I just hope they get help." To family, they lament, "I've tried my best to support them, but something seems deeply wrong. It's heartbreaking to watch." This act of virtue signaling is one of their most potent weapons. It allows them to inflict harm while appearing benevolent, to stab you metaphorically while publicly tending to your wounds. Their carefully curated empathy convinces outsiders of their righteousness while laying the groundwork for social destruction. The success of this social exorcism depends on recruiting allies, often referred to as flying monkeys. These unwitting participants amplify the narcissist's narrative, becoming pillars that sustain their constructed reality. Understanding why so many people are easily swayed requires examining group psychology. First, the principle of cognitive ease comes into play. Humans prefer simple, emotionally satisfying stories over complex, contradictory realities. The narcissist's narrative, "I'm good, you're unstable," is straightforward and dramatic, while your truth is nuanced, unsettling, and challenging to explain. Faced with the choice between a comforting fiction and a disturbing reality, most unconsciously choose the fiction, aligning with the narcissist to avoid cognitive strain or social discomfort.